Hey everybody, I'm Ashley Marshall with Cranford Marshall Legal. Today I want to talk to you primarily to a lot of you military spouses, but this is really good advice for everyone. But something has really happened in the past week and a half. We saw a rapid deployment of our troops. We saw troops that were, according to some estimates, of course, we don't have DoD official terminology on this, but some estimates were only given 18 hours notice to deploy. And as a military spouse myself, that makes me really think about all of you guys and the rest of our community about what we should do and how we can be prepared for if this were to happen to us. Because, we don't know what the future holds for any of us. And that's true for any parent, not just, or anybody that not just a military spouse. But again, this has most recently hit us. And so I want to talk to you guys about something that I think that all of us need to take a time to sit down, check out. It's a new year, and that's to make sure our estate plans are where they need to be. Okay, so military spouses, first thing I want to tell you is that if your spouse is recently deployed, first off, I am so praying for all of our troops and their safety because, again, I'm an active duty spouse myself. It could be me. It could be my husband that's given short notice. So, but we're all in this together and know that you got us all supporting you. And then the thing I want to talk to you about, too, is estate planning. So, when our troops deploy, they're taken care of for the most part. They have wills. Now, they might not have the power of attorneys and things that they need to have when they leave, especially when they go that fast. A lot of times they're given opportunities overseas if they're in the right situation to get those done by JAG. But, that's one of the things you need as a military spouse is a power of attorney. And your spouse needs it, and you need it as well. And this is primarily what you guys and me, what we all need. And that is, first off, we need to have a will in place. And I know a lot of people think, I don't need a will. I don't have any property. Well, it's not just about property. A will is your opportunity to talk about what would happen to your children and where they're going to go if you have kids, or in the future when you have kids, if something were to happen to you. To me, that is the most important reason for a lot of us who are active duty spouses to have a will, is to take care of our children. The next thing I want to see you guys have is a power of attorney. Okay, so you probably are going to have one on your spouse, but who has one for you if something were to happen? Okay, so here's my thought. Say, for instance, you have appendicitis and all of a sudden you need an emergency appendectomy. Okay, who's going to take care of the financial decisions for you while this is happening? These are decisions you need to think about. Who's going to make health care requests for you while this is happening? Because legally speaking, it's your spouse. Well, your spouse is on the other side of the country or other side of the world right now, so they can't necessarily make those best decisions in the time necessary. So you as a spouse need to have a plan, a backup plan. So what my suggestion would be is to have a power of attorney, and first off, name your spouse as number one as the first person, and if they are unavailable or deployed or whoever, have a second person who you're going to go to ask for help. Super, super important that there is a power of attorney for you as well, so that you don't have a problem, because if you're unconscious, you can't sign a power of attorney, but you're still going to have bills that need to be paid. So you see what I'm saying here? Take care of yourself too. Think about what's going to happen to you. The third thing that I like to see happen is I like for you guys to have healthcare proxies done. And a healthcare proxy is it's a living will. That's the one I want to see happen. It's called a living will. And it's where you have the decisions that you go through and you say, okay, if something were to happen to me, yes, I want life support. No, I don't want life support. Yes, I want this. No, I don't want this. These are all forms that you can download. These are also all things like these three items that I just talked about: power of attorney, will, living will, are all things that you can get help with at JAG. Okay, free of charge. You can call your JAG office. You can make an appointment. A lot of times they send you some pre-work to do, some worksheets to fill out that you've got to submit or send in, and they will handle all of this for you as a free service of being an active duty spouse. It's just your job to make sure it's handled. Okay, and if our spouses are rapidly deploying, it's even more important that we get prepared now before we have an issue. Now, the next thing I want to talk about in regards to those 3 documents is I want you guys to go ahead and think about what is your plan for your kids. Now, I'm not necessarily talking if you were to pass away, but just in general. Okay, say for instance, you are, we'll go back to the appendicitis example, you need to have an emergency appendectomy. Okay, most of us are stationed away from our families. We don't have mom and dad right there who can easily zip in and come in and take care of kids if need be while our family member is deployed. That's just not very realistic. We need somebody local to do that. Okay, so somebody local that's in your area that could get in there fast and can help you. So you need to think of somebody in your area that can help you in case something were to go south. A lot of, like we're an Air Force family, and in our world, we have a key spouse that can help us. We have, I have friends that can help us, neighbor, anything like that. Anybody that you made a connection with is a perfect person to talk to about helping you. Now, what I really suggest you doing once you have made the decision as who's going to help you with all of this is you need to talk to that person and tell them. And, you might want to consider having up a legal document drawn up that says, that they're going to have power of my kids if something were to happen to me. Like if you were in a hospitalization, who's going to get your kids to school? All of these things are things you need to think about, especially if our spouses are leaving and we don't know what's going to happen. But that's really important. And I would even go so far, like if you have an iPhone, you can go in under your emergency kits in your info section. You're allowed to put in healthcare information, other information. I would go in and add something like, I have 2 children, and I would list the names of my children, the birth dates of my children, where they go to school. And then I would say something like, if I am unavailable to help my children, please contact this person. And I would name, first off, I'd name my spouse. And then if he's deployed, I would say my spouse is currently deployed. Please contact this person on my behalf. So that an emergency personnel would know who they can contact by looking at your phone. I've also heard of people too having note cards made up and keeping them in their wallets. And that again is an excellent idea, saying, I have children, this is what needs to happen, this is who needs to be contacted. So I just really want you guys to think about that. And again, all of this, I know this wasn't the best organized talk that I've given, but I just feel it's really important with the events that have happened, in the past week and a half with our troops suddenly deploying. And I know it scared a lot of military spouses out there. But I want you to know that there is help and there are things you can do to protect yourself. This is not legal information this is just simply information. It's education. It's not legal advice. And I'm not saying my services are offered better than anybody else's. You're more than welcome to contact me. If you need help, I'll be happy to see if I can help you. If I can't help you, I'll reach out into my network and find somebody to help you. But you can also go to JAG on base, and they can offer these services free of charge to you. So check into that option because it's free. But again, you guys, I just want you to stay safe and I want you to be prepared, okay? And remember, I am so much praying for you and your families as you guys go through deployments and praying for a hedge of protection over all of our troops. Thanks so much, and I hope this information helps.